Why are men and women born at a near 1-to-1 ratio? It's called Fisher's principle. The idea is a bit tricky, but here goes. If there are markedly more of sex A than sex B in the population, then members of sex B will on average have more offspring than members of sex A, which creates a selection pressure in favor of mutations that happen to increase the odds of B. Over time, the population will tend to, all else being equal, reach an equilibrium where each is about 50 of the population. It's generally as ascribed to what's called Fisher's principle. 1. Suppose females are more common than males. 2. A male will have better mating prospects since there are more females around, so he'll have more children. 3. So being a male is a hereditary advantage, and their genes for making more males get passed on more of that male's children. 4. As the gene for making more males becomes more widespread because those males have more children, the ratio approaches 1:1 and that gene becomes less of an advantage. And then there's the phenomenon that after wars that the birth rates of males are statistically significantly higher than normal to backfill, so to speak. https://n.wikipedia.org wiki returning soldier effects:/n.wikipedia.org wiki returning soldier effect. I don't think this is NSFW. Honestly, this is a pretty normal question. Boys are born slightly more often than girls. They are more susceptible to sex-linked genetic diseases due to having one copy of the X chromosome and a Y chromosome, so, in nature, the infants will die slightly more often than females. Males tend to be more impulsive, aggressive and risk-taking, so they'll die more often in accidents conflicts. They are more vulnerable to damage to reproductive organs due to external testes, so if they are damaged it takes them out of the gene pool. A population needs fewer males than females to survive, but it also needs genetic variety to avoid the whole six fingers na brain situation, so it balances out. 5050 odds. Apart from Fisher's principle, in the cases of Homo sapiens, another factor that comes into play is that we are evolutionarily speaking evolving to be a species focused on monogamy. This is evident from our lack of sexual dimorphism. Primate species with less sexual dimorphism tend to be monogamous, while those with a high degree of sexual dimorphism tend to be polygamous. For example, the dimorphism in gorillas, and therefore, that's an additional selection pressure that keeps the rate at nearly 1:1 in monogamous species. Evolution isn't a thinking entity. Maybe I'm just unlucky in who I'm seeing, but surprisingly I feel like a sort of minority when I go out in public around my local area. As a man, it seems to be a lot more women than the other. I know it's not necessarily true, it just really feels like it. We mate them and they produce more. Because it's been effective so far, and that's how evolution works. That's the mosquito approach to reproduction. Human babies require high investment after birth, not low investment after birth. Also, women have hidden ovulation, so the male can never be sure that the baby is theirs. Therefore, for the male to ensure his genes carry on, they typically are required to match up 1:1 to females. Flip a coin 8 billion times. Most likely you will get around 4 billion heads and 4 billion tails with a bit of variation. Same as sex distribution. Edit, you can see here coin flip simu. Flip a coin to get heads or tails. Results flipsimu.com. A coin is flipped 63 million times, and the results are close to 5050. It's the same with chickens. Roosters exist to protect the flock. They will throw themselves at a fox. The hens and chicks get away. That said, looking at human males risk-taking, many would die before breeding age. Got a broken bone? Dead. Head trauma from climbing a tree? Dead. Playing with bugs or snakes and get poisoned? Dead. It's why more boys than girls are born. Nature knows what testosterone does, and has adjusted for it. Because when meiosis happens to make sperm, half of them end up with an X chromosome and half end up with a Y, assuming a perfect world, of course. So, 50-50 chance of male or female.